We are live.
Oh,
Look at that.
hooray.
It worked.
Hooray for us.
Worked once again. We're on the internet. We're
Good.
doing it. Hello and welcome to episode number 883 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, October 24th, 2023. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, from Canada is Mr. Greg Seward. Hello, sir.
Yellow.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How's it going with you?
It's going just fine. Yeah.
Good. Good talk.
Good talk. Good talk. And joining me from the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil Theobald.
Greetings. Greetings, fellow
And
stargazers.
salutations.
Salutations to you. Yes.
How are you today?
I am just dandy.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Glad to hear
You
it.
you feeling fine? You feeling good?
Like cherry wine, baby. You know me.
Oh. Yeah.
How's it going?
Well, this has been a good week in games.
How do you
Just in
figure?
terms of quality of games that we've seen released in
Yeah, I
general.
can see. I'm looking at the what you've been playing document here. You're all excited to talk about Walkabout Mini Golf this week.
I am. Walkabout Mini Golf is a classic of our
It
times.
seems like a good use of our time this week. We don't have much else to talk about.
Yeah.
Let me tell you,
Yep.
if
Did you get that
have-
Labyrinth DLC?
I did. Yeah,
Oh, well,
if you,
no wonder.
I haven't played it though. I haven't played Labyrinth yet. I've maybe
Have
next
you been
weekend.
busy with some other game?
So, some
or
other video
2
games
or
have
3?
come up. But let me tell you, that Walkabout Mini Golf is aces.
No, I've heard.
Yeah.
No, it's a
If
good
you
game.
have a VR headset of any kind, you need to pick up. Walkabout
I've
Mini
played it. It is a very good game.
You should play with us. We get a group together on the weekends. We've done 2 weekends in a row now. That's a record for the Player One
That-
podcast.
That sounds like more
So-
trouble than it's worth.
Yeah, you hop into VR and play 18 holes
Uh-huh.
golf. It's fun.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, but it's been a bit of a week
Mm-hmm.
in terms of good game content. So let's start with some news, but really there's not much of it. So Analog, everyone's favorite FPGA console maker, has announced a new machine, the Analog 3D, and it is a Nintendo 64 machine.
Historically, the first system ever to have 3D content.
How do you figure?
Well, I don't know. It's just called the 3D.
Well, the next one's going to be the Analog Garage Shading,
Oh.
because
The Saturn didn't have garage shading.
but the PlayStation did.
Who cares about
No.
the PlayStation?
Where's the
Are you
analog
think-
bump mapping?
Do you think Analog is going to do a PlayStation, a Saturn, a Dreamcast? Do you
They'll
think
be-
we're
they'll be
on this
announcing
train
the-
now?
They'll be announcing the analog terrible architecture next.
Oh, that's the Saturn.
The analog failed early launch.
Oh,
You think they'll release it on they'll
The
release it
analog
early?
no Sonic for you.
What they should do is they should announce it and release it on the same day
They
for $500.
should announce it and then tell us it's been on sale for a week already.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, they announced an N64 analog machine, which is pretty cool. Now, let me ask you a question. How do you feel about CEOs that use the F word in interviews? Did you hear? Did you see
I
this?
wasn't ready
What?
for that question.
is this related to the analog?
It is. The
Oh.
CEO of Analog did an interview with Paste Magazine where he said he was talking about how good the Analog 3D is and that it supports 4K and all this stuff. And then he says, therefore, every nuance is able to be calibrated to an unprecedented degree. To me, it's either this or buy an effing original N64 or CRT. End of story.
I
don't know.
mean, okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
It doesn't affect you? Okay.
No,
Should it?
I just find it incredibly amateurish to
It's
It
a
is,
little it's a
absolutely.
little weird.
but I mean,
You don't see Doug
Yeah.
Bowser saying the reason why we
know-
don't have unions is because this is a fucking awesome place to work.
oh, just
Wow.
settle down there, Johnson.
Oh my.
I mean, I think I'm more irritated about the fact that people who pre-ordered an Analog Pocket were still waiting for theirs to ship like a year later,
Oh.
but they were still releasing batches of transparent, multicolored Analog Pockets
Mm.
in the meantime that would ship in like 2 weeks. That bugs me more than dropping an F-bomb in a magazine or website I've never read.
Okay.
Just saying.
Well, I don't have any physical media, so I really have to like glom onto details to
So, but
about for
going
the
back
show.
to this, so I mean, I don't know if you own any analog stuff, CJ, but Phil, I know you do.
I don't.
I do.
do
You
not.
have an Analog Pocket,
I have a
and
Pocket
you
and
have
their
an SG
Genesis
and an NT,
and their SNES. Yes.
and I think you feel the same way I do. They're pretty great little pieces of kit.
I concur.
How you feeling about the fact that they're doing an N64? Is that something you'll buy?
Ugh.
Yep, that's the reaction I expected.
I mean,
Give it
I
a
wouldn't
solid
mind
maybe.
having it, but also, and you know what? And I certainly still have like all my old N64 carts, so I have things to play on it.
Right.
But
Do you want to see those textures in 4K?
how?
All
They haven't said how much it's going to be, right?
I mean, it's going to be a premium price. Yeah, analog.
What's the
stuff.
premium price?
It'll be in the multiple hundreds, I would think.
Right.
Like, well, I mean,
Yeah.
what the Pocket's 250, right?
Right.
I forget how much they were selling the NT and the SG for. I think it was
Yeah,
around
I
the
don't
same.
remember.
It's over 200.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the Duo go for? But the Duo's got a disk drive in it. But anyway, either way, let's say it's 200 plus.
Let's see.
I think that's a fair estimate.
Yeah. Let's. You know what? I'm looking here. I'm seeing what the Duo costs, and yeah, I know.
well, you can't see the prices because they're all sold out.
Right.
So it doesn't matter.
Actually, I think they still show the price.
I mean, they show the price on the page. You just
Oh, they do. Okay.
and by sold out of the Duo, there's a big button here that says pre-order now.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
yes.
I didn't know that.
And
No, the
and
thing you're thinking of, CJ, is the Game Gear adapter for the Pocket. You can't buy
Right.
that.
Right.
now see the Genesis and SNES, which are sold out, and they're done with those. They show the prices. Those were 200.
Okay.
Oh.
The Turbo is 250.
So I think it's fair. I think 200 is probably a fair
200.
guess.
You know what? If
Because
it's
this doesn't have disk drive or a screen or anything like
right,
that. So.
if it's
But
if it's
silicon
200,
graphics.
if it's
those-
200, I might spring for it. If it was like, let's say 400 or 500,
Oh, absolutely not.
then no.
No.
But for two,
I guess-
maybe.
I guess the question is then, see, for me,
Mhm.
there are some games on the N64 that I loved,
Of course.
but not a lot.
Right.
It's a pretty thin library,
Hmm.
especially when you're talking about hits. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you're talking
Right.
about classics.
Yes.
Mostly from Nintendo.
I find it, well, yeah, that doesn't bother me so much, but I find that to me is the bigger issue is just like the Pocket.
Mhm.
I have no problem with, because, well, first of all, people have made it so you can load ROMs on the thing anyway, but it covers a lot of different systems
Yes.
if you want to buy the adapters. But
True.
even so, Game Boy Advance, great libraries,
Mhm.
very deep, lots of stuff to play.
Yes.
Same with the NT and the SG. You got Super Nintendo and Genesis, great libraries,
Oh,
lots of stuff to play, lots of stuff to discover. And 64,
It's not as much.
so much.
Right.
So that was my first reaction. I mean, I'm glad they're doing it. It makes sense that they're doing it, but at the same time, for me personally,
Yeah.
it's like I don't know that I'm super. I don't know if I get
Hmm.
one
You know what?
to play 5 or 6.
It might be
games.
worth it for me to play those Goemon games.
Fair.
Yeah. Mystical
'Cause
Ninja
those aren't
starring.
going to
those,
be
yeah.
re-released.
No. Yeah. Those. We're not going to get those on a modern system.
No.
And you know what?
Hmm.
Those old the old wrestling games. No
Would you
Mercy
play
and
those? Would you
Hmm?
play those again?
Oh, you know what? I
Really?
would certainly play them again. I don't know if I would get into them as much as I did back in the day.
I was
Those are
having
great games.
I was having a conversation about something similar on Classic Gaming Quarterly's Discord this week, where we were talking about fighting games, and I think that this would fall into that same category. I don't play fighting games.
Right.
I haven't played fighting games in a long time, and I wasn't necessarily a huge fan of them in the early 90s yet. I mean, I played Street Fighter 2 because everybody played Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
But there was a time between like 1995 and 99 where my roommates and I and our circle of friends basically played nothing but fighting games.
Yeah.
Like if there was a 3D fighter, if there was a Sega 3D fighter on the Saturn, one of us owned it. We all played the hell out of it. If there was a King of Fighters game, if there was a Street Fighter Alpha game in particular, and then of course Soul Calibur, we played it like crazy. But then when I moved away from there, my interest just dropped off a cliff for fighting games. Because I just didn't. I think the people at Ziff Davis were way too good for me to play against them anyway. But I just wasn't interested anymore. But I was also saying that I'll go back and play like a round of Last Bronx or something like that. Not because it's an amazing game, not because I want to play a ton of it and get good at it again, but just to sort of relive those moments where I was playing it. So like that would you basically for you in wrestling games, would that be kind of the same thing? Like, was it just when did you have a circle of friends that were really into that stuff? Or
no, well, I was at
Game Now.
I was at Game Now when those games came out, and I mean, you know, it's not a weird opinion that like No Mercy and
I know they're very highly regarded.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I mean, those are great games, and they are highly regarded for a reason because they were really really great games.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's I mean, certainly, you know, there were a bunch of us would play it around the office, you know, making goofy wrestlers with the custom creators and things like that. But
Elephant Sack.
Yes,
That was
ESAC.
Yep.
ESAC.
Yep. EGM was ESAC. We had Choppy McChop, the mighty wrestler who used chops and was a fierce rival of Kicky McKick, who only used kicks.
I mean, natural enemies.
Obviously.
Really.
Definitely.
Yeah. So it would be it'd be fun to bust those out again. So
I guess I was just questioning, like, would you play a lot of them? That's it. Like, would you play them like legitimately to win the title? Let's say.
I would not. I would not sit them down and treat them as a new release. And I'm going. It would be I'm going to pop this in and play it for half an hour,
right,
and have some fun.
That was kind of what I was
away, and then maybe you know, throw it in a little while later. Yeah, it would not be I'm going to sit down and dedicate my time to playing through the single player mode or whatever, if they have one, which I don't remember.
Right.
It's been a minute since I played them.
I think they do. I think you would be trying to win titles and things like that.
Right.
Got to win those belts.
Exactly.
Yeah. I have the N64 controller for the Switch, and the NSO library is pretty much good enough for me.
Yeah.
I don't need an exact duplication of the N64 enough to.
That's the other thing. What you were seeing wouldn't be an exact duplication of the N64. I think it's kind of a weird thing to say it's either this or go buy original hardware and play it on a CRT. Why? So it looks a lot worse? Is that why? Because the representations on NSO and what you see on emulation is not what an N64 looked like.
Well, that's true. Yeah. And it wouldn't be on a 4K TV at FPGA N64. It's not not what it originally looked like.
Yeah. It drives me crazy when I see YouTube videos, especially talking about like remembering the N64 and look how great this looks. It's like, well, yeah, it looks great because you're running it through emulation.
Yeah.
That's not what it looked like.
No.
Textures being upresed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The N64 always looked terrible. Honestly.
It had its moments. It had some stuff that looked really good.
Mostly from Nintendo.
You had to make, it had to be a very particular, you know, you had to make particular choice. Like F-Zero looked great.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
In motion.
X. Yeah.
You know, and Mario looked great. but there was a lot on that system that didn't.
Yeah. All right. The only other thing in news here is Skull Island: Rise of Kong. Apparently, it's a game so bad.
But you already mentioned how this was a huge week for games, and like some of the best games of the year have been
What's
released.
bigger
this
than
week.
King Kong?
What's bigger than King Kong?
So we're gonna exactly.
Yeah. So videos of it. There's one in particular, a clip with a boss. It's like a boss fight introduction where one of the animations is replaced with a drawing of the boss, like a still picture.
And not even like a drawing, just like a
It's not a drawing.
JPEG.
it's like a
It's a
JPEG
screen
slap
grab.
up. And it's
Yeah.
and it's like not even like taking up the full frame.
That's
It's
right.
a poorly grabbed. It's something that if we had grabbed for the magazine, we would have been told, no,
Yes.
go back and do it again.
Yeah.
So this game is being ripped on, but it's a licensed game, right? Like I don't know.
Why do you
Like
use that as some kind of that?
Hey,
There are
hey,
good
you know what else
license
is a
games.
licensed game? Spider-Man 2,
Yeah.
which I have a feeling we're going to talk about later
we
today.
are. Yeah,
And I bet it doesn't have the same excuses.
Oh, you just haven't gotten the right mission yet.
I guess I haven't.
Man,
I know
the
you
first
haven't
time-
faced the boss that you
first
see
time you
There's,
face
there's a big
Mysterio.
cutout of Doc Ock just kind
Yeah.
of
a crude drawing.
Yeah.
twitching around the screen.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's a licensed game, so
JPEG
you're just going to
artifact.
hand wave it. Come on.
I don't know.
1993 CJ, is that?
yeah. I don't know. I find the practice of let's laugh at this video game at how bad it is to be a one of the worst aspects of social media, just in general. Because there are
Yeah, but
people
this
who
is really
worked on this
funny.
game, though.
This
like
is really funny.
you don't know the aspects of what the development.
I think the
was-
difference there is if you say, "Oh, lazy developers," is one thing, but if
You
you
don't
laugh
think
at how
that's
bad
part of
this
the
is, it's
discussion in
different.
this?
I think,
You
well,
know?
maybe it is, and that part of the discussion sucks.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that part of the discussion, but that doesn't change the fact that it's funny.
It is funny.
Maybe
You're right. You're right.
I assume it's because there was no budget.
CJ,
I
So,
assume that too.
crappy
They had a
producers?
timeline they had to meet, and
Hey,
they ran
hey,
out of
CJ?
budget in
I had to
time.
check and see if it was an Embracer game personally, but
CJ.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy Mystery Science Theater 3000?
I do enjoy Mystery
Oh,
Science Theater
oh,
3000.
Now, last I heard, those people who
Uh-oh.
worked on those movies probably worked really hard.
well, some of them.
well, they're in an industry that I'm not in, so I don't have to care about that.
Ah, there it is. There it is.
There you go.
I have no dog in this race, so look how unconcerned I am suddenly
That's
about.
right. That's right.
There
I
we
mean,
go.
I think the same thing about Gollum is like I think it's unfortunate that we have to like point and laugh at developers.
We don't
that are
have
not-
to.
that are not Embracer. Embracer, fine. Go ahead, point and laugh all you want.
I mean, Embracer makes me sad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not pointing
Embracer
and
makes me
laughing.
sad too.
Embracer is just screwing people over. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
It cracks me up though. The thing that I find amusing about this is when you have a terrible company
Hmm.
like Embracer that thrives on consuming smaller studios and destroying them and throwing away the people.
but hanging
who-
on to the IP.
Yes. You know, and they have the Embracer name where it's almost like, you know, they're telling you. They're
Mhm.
telling you what they are about. And the company that made this Kong game,
Mm.
well, I don't believe they developed it, but they released it.
Publisher.
The publisher is a Game Mill, I believe.
Yeah.
Which
which-
is all about licensed games.
Which again, yeah, they produce kind of quickie, low budget licensed games,
Churn them
but-
out.
but and their name just it's a soulless factory
Yeah.
churning out.
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah. Quick, cheap games to make that quick buck.
Yeah.
I was interested in getting this game
Yeah, you said that.
because it is
And I was like, what?
well,
what
and,
are
and
we
I was confused
experiencing
by your
here?
confusion.
Because I know you are a sucker for a Transformers game of any kind, a
Of
Godzilla
course.
game of any kind, a
Kaiju centric games.
any sort of Kamen Rider,
Yep.
but I didn't know that you were a fan of this specific like license of King Kong. You're so much that you're going
Well,
to buy
it's King Kong. King Kong is
kaiju
Godzilla
adjacent.
adjacent. They've worked together for decades.
I suppose
Godzilla
it's
and King
kaiju
Kong.
adjacent. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But
I didn't know. I didn't know, Phil. Now I know.
But now yeah, of course.
And knowing is half the battle.
Of course.
Like G.I. Joe.
I played through Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie.
Well, that was all there was at the launch of the Xbox.
And you know what? It wasn't a bad game.
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't a bad game. But no, I saw this and was just like, oh, I'm not spending the $40.
You'll wait until it's 30.
I'll wait until it's about
30. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When it inevitably
hits.
hits the $5 mark, that's when I
Well,
will
maybe
spring into action.
maybe it'll get patched. Maybe Game Mill is embarrassed at what they have put out there. Probably not.
No, are you
But the
kidding?
name
They're already moving
Game
on
Mill, it's gotta
to their
be-
next license.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Let's dig into the heart of the big releases of last week. Let's start with the first release of the week, Sonic Superstars.
Poor Sonic Superstars.
Poor Sonic
Because
Superstars.
here's the thing.
Who the hell
Sonic-
releases a new video game when the Eras Tour is in theaters right now?
Because
Yeah.
Sonic Superstars is actually pretty good.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's a shame it came out this week.
It is a big shame that it came out this week.
The 2 days, the 2 evenings I could give the game, I
Yeah.
enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a good game.
I'll pick it up again in a month.
Yeah, basically.
It is a good game. I'm only through a little bit of it.
Mhm.
But I did enjoy my time, and it has the thing where the levels are huge, and I don't feel like I explored
Any of it?
any of
Yeah.
it really. And I especially like the new takes on some of the bonus levels. So like the one that's a new take on the bonus stage from Sonic 1, the rotating environment that you are Sonic as a ball, and you have to jump and
The
collect
Sonic
a
1 bonus stages.
a Chaos Emerald. So they have a new take on that in this, and I find this much better in terms of design than those old stages. They are sort of broken up into several layers of maze, so there's not like one thing. And I just enjoyed especially the difficulty ramp of the first few of these a little more than I did in the stages in Sonic 1.
Yeah, I mean, the stage in Sonic 1 were made 32 years ago as well.
Well, yeah.
But,
It's a nice
yeah, and there are way more of them in this game than there were in Sonic 1, but I agree with
Yeah.
you to a point. They're interesting. I do like that they're smaller and they're a little easier to navigate than what we
slightly
had
easier.
32 years ago. But
Yes.
yeah, Sonic, it's pretty good. It looks really nice.
Yeah.
It does.
Sonic, the character designs, especially the character models, I think look fantastic. Because it's always I had mentioned that before. That's always a risk with they're really trying to capture the spirit and the feel of the original Sonic in this one, and they did a great job. He looks really good. Yeah, it's got that Sonic thing, which Mania had this too, and previous Sonics more recently that were 2D have had this, where the levels almost feel
Too big.
too big.
Yeah.
And you're just racing past a bunch of stuff that, I guess if I was younger and I wanted to spend more time on this particular game, that'd probably be great because I'd want to go back and try everything out. But I mean,
Well, that's the thing, right?
yeah,
This game feels like Sonic 1
yeah.
It does.
in its
The-
level design.
The flow is great. Like the flow in each level is really nice. It like you said, it plays like Sonic 1.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of starting
I'm
and stopping.
worried that
So-
it'll get to be so much like Sonic 1 that in the later levels, it'll become more of a slog. Those sort of very large worlds where things occasionally like turn back on themselves and it becomes
Mm.
more of a maze than a level where you're running to the right. I feel like
Well, I mean,
that
there's-
could get
none of them are just running to the right. But yeah, I see. I know what you're
that
saying.
could get frustrating, right?
There was there,
And I wish that it would take a cue from more modern platformers, Super Mario Wonder, and do away with the time limit thing where they're running a countdown clock.
but nothing
on-
happens.
Nothing happens in this game, I know, but I would prefer it not be displayed on screen at all.
But-
because it makes you think that you have to
Nothing
race
happens.
through this level when you can really take your time. That's what I'm saying.
But nothing happens.
I don't care.
It's literally it's telling you how long you've been in the level. Nothing happens if you go past the 10-minute mark.
I know,
Yeah.
but still, I don't like it. I don't like it there. Give me an accessibility option to hide it, please.
I mean,
Thank you.
Jesus,
that's like Sonic's thing is like how quickly can you get through the level?
It is in the first few stages, but then I feel like it doesn't. It stops being that at a certain point.
Does it though?
for me. You know when it stopped being that?
Hmm.
In one of the last levels I played, where I went over 10 minutes and realized nothing happens.
Yeah,
I was
but
like, oh, okay.
but as the countdown clock was going,
Counter did turn red.
It's the
were
challenge.
you
yourself.
not like, oh shit, I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to
it
do
was.
all this again? And
I was fighting, but that was once. It happened once, and now I know that nothing happened, so I don't
Yeah.
care.
exactly, which is why they shouldn't even display it.
Jesus, CJ. um, no, but I forget what level I made it to. But it was starting to do. It actually reminded me a lot of the Chemical Plant Zone in Sonic 2, where there was a lot of crisscrossing back and forth in the level, and you were going through pipes a little bit, and like it seemed very much like it was based on the Chemical Plant Zone. I think that's what
Mhm.
that was called in Sonic 2, which was one of the best zones in Sonic 2. It was even doing that thing where Sonic's going down ramps and going so fast that the cameras can't keep up
Oh.
with him, which was
Right,
always
right.
such a great effect.
Very
It didn't
cool.
serve
effect.
any purpose other than to make him look ridiculously fast.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I've been enjoying it. It's not, I'm not crazy about it. Like it's, I'm not like, oh my god, I can't put this down, because clearly I did put it down. I think the big thing is the bosses is what's left the biggest impression. The bosses are quite good. I like the multi-stage sort of, you do 3 hits and then we move into like a different stage of this boss. Some are better than others. There was one that was Eggman was like in a helicopter. I don't know if you guys made it to this one or not. And then
I
he,
have
like,
not.
No.
the rotor from the helicopter goes down to the bottom of the screen and breaks up the platform you're standing on, and you actually have to jump up across broken platforms
Oh.
to get to him, and then he has different attacks based on what stage of the boss you're in.
Mhm.
But yeah, all the bosses so far have had something similar where they're creative. I like them a lot. They feel like classic Sonic bosses felt, and
Yeah.
I dig
Mhm.
that.
That's good.
I haven't tried it multiplayer. Have you guys tried any multiplayer?
No.
No.
Okay.
No
So we got
desire
nothing say
to.
about that then. Me neither. I want to try it
I-
just to see what it does, but I'll probably play it once.
So I heard a lot of impressions about the multiplayer, and none of them were good.
Awesome.
Because apparently it doesn't designate one player as the one that the camera's centered on.
The one
and
true
also
player.
One what?
The one true player.
The one true player.
Right.
Yes. And if you get off screen, and of course Sonic moves very fast or whatever, you like immediately die.
Yeah, to
Hmm.
me, that's what I was worried about with multiplayer in general, is because Sonic games move so fast, and this one is kind of what we were expecting, where the levels are huge and it's really easy to get on a different path than than you might have
Yeah.
expected to be on. And I'm just curious how that works, because they diverge so wildly at times. Does it just grab the other players and
Hmm.
warp them to you, or like I'm really curious to see how that works.
Hmm.
But I don't feel like it's ever going to work well.
No, I can't imagine it does.
Probably not. Yeah. But hey, too bad Sonic released this week because 2 other games came out on Friday that we want to talk about as well. So which one should we talk about first?
Well, how far have you guys played into Spidey? Because I'll tell you this, I've been
couple
focusing on Spidey because of its
Me too.
story-driven nature.
Same.
So
You don't want to get spoiled?
exactly.
There you
I
go.
think if you've been focusing on Spider-Man, you're probably further than CJ. Anyway,
I assume you're farther than I am, yeah.
Right. Have you met Spider-Man yet in that game?
2 of them.
Oh my,
2 of them.
what?
I know.
Well, maybe you are
Spoilers.
farther than I am.
Shocking as that is. No, what I just had the
Spoilers.
scene on the when they first go to the raft and a whole thing happens. There's a whole
is that
thing.
as far as you are?
Yeah.
That's the beginning of the game.
That's the
Oh,
beginning
wow.
of the game. Yeah.
Wow, so CJ hasn't played Spider-Man.
So yeah, not really, I guess.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Greg,
Huh.
how far are you?
So I'm trying to think what the like major missions were. I've unlocked the going around and finding the Prowler stashes. I'm
Okay.
playing mostly as Miles Morales.
Let
So
me
finding the
ask you
Prowler
this.
stashes, yeah.
Let me ask you this, and this isn't really a spoiler since it's been in the trailers and things like that. Have you experienced anything involving Venom, the Venom plot line?
But here's why.
Okay.
Because there's I mean, mild spoiler warnings here, I guess. CJ, I'm sorry, but
Go ahead.
I've gone through the flashback scene at the high school.
Okay.
Oh, I
Right.
did that.
Harry?
I did that.
Yeah, so but then of course you choose who you play as,
Right.
right? And I've been playing as Miles. And,
Okay.
and I've actually played to the point in Miles that like the little whatever indicators popping up on the screen saying, you know, without saying it, saying you should switch to Peter. Like it's you know,
Right.
and switch to the heal the world plot quest line.
Okay. Okay.
But I haven't touched it at all because it just like I've been playing as Miles, and you know there's the different photo opportunities.
hmm
He had a few different missions. Again, started getting on calls with his uncle, and he has
Yep.
stashes that you know he doesn't want to fall in the wrong hands. So,
Yep.
and then I had to go back to the Visions Academy. There was a mission at Visions Academy that actually broke into multiple just stupid little like fair missions where there was one where somebody was trying to ask his boyfriend to the homecoming dance. Like
Okay.
little stupid little high school missions like
Right.
that. So I'm just like, well, I'm gonna play these out as far as they'll go, and then I'll switch back over to Peter. So that's kind of where I am. So
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, not super far ahead of you, but I'm probably a few hours ahead of you. Just into, oh my gosh, we got a back scratch.
Uh-oh.
We got a back scratch going on. Greg has unleashed the back scratch. Time for us. There we
CJ still
go.
doesn't have anything.
Nah,
What are you
CJ
doing,
has nothing.
CJ? You're embarrassing us.
That is
Sorry.
amateur hour.
Phil even brought
Wait,
two.
can I use this?
Amateur hour.
I wouldn't. Please
Don't use scissors, you fool. There we go.
Ah.
My goodness.
Hmm.
CJ's back is all sliced and bloody right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
Goodness gracious.
overall,
I guess
I'm
are
really
we talking
enjoying
Spidey now, or are we
I'm
gonna?
really enjoying Spider. We've been talking about Spider-Man
are
for a while.
talking.
Why
I
not?
guess we
Yeah,
are.
we're talking about
We're
Spider-Man.
talking about Spidey,
I've been focusing on it not because I chose to focus on it, just the one I happened to turn on first,
right?
and I just didn't want to stop playing it. So
Yeah.
the spider wings are a nice touch. They've added
Spider
all those,
wings
like, wind patterns
Wind
and
tunnels
everything all
are
over the city.
fantastic.
Mm.
Yes.
The Tempest 2000 bonus zone mini game there.
Yeah.
Ugh. The
But it's nice because the traversal in that game is so great, but especially where it's not just, and I'm probably get this wrong. I assume Manhattan Island is the whole island of New York. I don't know. Is that true? What do you call the island? Anyway, the previous game was only on the island,
Yes.
Mhm.
and now they've got like the
Other
east of the
boroughs.
island.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So of course you've got the river. I think that's a river to cross over,
yes.
and so like the moving around the map was always the best part about Spider-Man. But like where you've got this big body of water you have to cross every now and then.
yeah.
not so much when you have to do that. So the wings come in really handy. I do dig that
Absolutely.
a lot.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's a very nice addition. I admittedly don't use it much, the wings.
Same.
And for
Me neither.
those who don't know, but yes, one of the new powers you have in this game is the little
Web
Didn't
wings.
you have them at the end of Miles Morales?
Did we?
I think so.
I don't remember.
Because they don't really explain why he has them otherwise. So I really
Right.
that's one of the things too, is I
They're
really
working
feel this
on a
game
new-
really throws you into it.
They were working on new gadgets. I thought that was the whole thing. The web wings.
Yeah.
Well, that's
the
what
new
they do for
gadget.
Peter, but it feels like Miles already had them to start the
Well,
game. I could be wrong about that. But anyway.
whatever the case is, yeah, you now have little armpit spider web wings,
Yeah.
which you can use to glide around the city. And there are air currents flowing in between certain buildings and over bodies of water that if you get caught in them, you can travel through, and it's like Superman 64, to put it in superhero video game terms, where you're flying through rings. And as long as you stay within those
It's
rings,
exactly
you remain
like that.
aloft.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it is very handy.
I use it not only to cross the water, but also like if I have a long way to go and there's a really tall building, like I was just in a section where I was near Avengers Tower.
Okay.
So I just ran up the side of Avengers Tower, and as you get to the top, you can like hit X and he'll use his webs to like really shoot himself into the air. So now you're up a lot higher than every other building in the area. So the wings are great for that.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to glide until I get back down to sort of the level of the buildings that I can swing from.
Right.
Because I still prefer swinging over.
Oh, yes,
over
absolutely.
gliding.
For sure.
So
Yeah. I really only use the wings for crossing bodies of water because it's much faster and easier than trying to swing
Find the
across a bridge.
yeah.
Or there have been occasions where I've popped up some optional side quest that turns out to be on the complete opposite side of the map.
Right.
And they do have fast travel. You can unlock fast travel
Yeah. Pretty
in
fast,
this game.
Pretty easy.
But
Yeah.
I have no desire to fast travel in this game.
Same.
So I will use that if I need to get like well to the other side of the city. Which
I also loved how even when, because I mean, there's some story scenes. The raft is a great example where you switch control between Peter and Miles.
yes,
Yeah.
But then once you sort of get out of that, you get into these separate plot lines. I was playing as Peter for a little while, and I really loved how every now and then when there was a crime reported nearby and I would go to it, Miles was already there fighting.
yes,
It's a nice touch, right?
Yeah.
And with Miles, of course, it's
Very
easy
much.
to disappear him because he literally can disappear.
Yeah.
So he just like camouflages and thwips away, and it's like, all right, Miles is gone. But it's a nice touch.
and I do love on those little instances where you are controlling a character and you show up for a fight and the other Spider-Man's there, and then there will be during the course of the battle just like you'll start to pull off some special move on some random goon, and then the other Spider-Man will fly in, he'll swing in and whip some rope at him, and like you'll do a little combo rope takedown.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's really cute.
I've been
And then,
playing around with the photo mode, even though I haven't played as far in as either of you. I have had some fun playing with the photo mode. Which
Already
during
got a
those
hard drive filled up?
takedowns, when you're doing those takedowns, you can take some real nice shots.
That is
and
true.
Then add some cool frames to them and adjust, all manner of stickers, and then you post them to your social medias. And it's super fun. I love photo modes in most games, and this one obviously no different with that.
And there's a you may not have unlocked this yet, but there is a side quest, a little photo-centric side quest.
Well, yes, I have that
Okay.
side quest
You
where
did
you're
do
up
that, okay.
the photos to
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
I've
kind
done
of what's
quite a
taking
few
me
of
so
those.
long with Miles. I just been using those the photo ops that I know that I
Right.
see on the map. I just kind of use those as an excuse to go to different parts of the map. And
Yeah.
I like
look
too
around.
that this is so far anyway, an open world game where I feel like I'm uncovering parts of the map and it's not showing me a million icons yet.
The
Right?
first person ever to
Maybe that'll
discover New York.
change.
So the
What's that?
first person ever to discover New York.
Right. Maybe that'll change and there'll be icons all over by the end of this, but I feel like
Doesn't
it
seem like it so
it
much.
feels like I'm discovering a lot of stuff organically, and
Mhm.
when I go past a photo op, I'll usually stop and just do it right then.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the well, see now, I'm at the point now where there are several little side quests popping up. And spoilers again. This whole chunk should be spoilers. Yes, but you got the photo ops, you got the prowler hideouts, you got the Sandman crystals.
I haven't found those those ones are really something you discover, I find. Like, I mean, they will appear on the map when you
Once you swing by them.
thwip by them.
Yeah.
But, and you can see them in the distance. Like, there's always a cloud of sand around any of those crystals.
Right.
But yeah, I found that those I discover more, whereas like the prowler hideouts
Mhm.
mostly just been appearing on my map.
Oh, really?
Like I haven't really found one so much as it's like, oh, it's on the map, I'll go there.
Right.
But I think the thing is like, if you don't do a lot of the side quest stuff, I could totally see this map getting overwhelmed with icons.
Yeah.
But I think the key factor here is that it's not all happening at once. They're not all appearing, what's wrong, Phil? Is some of your Lego coming to life? What's going on?
No, we have a grocery delivery, apparently. A very well-timed grocery delivery.
There we go.
All right. Anyway,
there we go.
Yeah, my point is like I'm thinking back to something like the most recent Forza Horizon, where it's like it would just vomit like 20 icons on the map.
Icon
all at
overload.
once.
Right.
Whereas it's not happening in Spider-Man 2. Not yet. Anyway.
Yeah. There's a few more things that have popped up as I've gotten a little farther along, but I'll just quiet for now.
Did you guys do the same accessibility setting and disable or autocomplete the QTEs?
I haven't.
Turn that on immediately.
I have not.
Are there QTEs?
Yes, there are QTEs that will autocomplete for you.
Oh no, I left them on.
So anytime you do a chase and you stop a car or whatever, you don't have to do any of that stuff. Miles or Peter just stop the car. You see all the animation, but you don't have to do any of the button presses or attacks. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Not much else to say about it right now. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I don't want to
it
get
looks great though.
I don't want to get too far into like story or some of the events that have happened to me that have not happened to you fellows yet, because there's some and you're probably pretty close to it, Greg. There's a very cute scene that shows up in Peter's storyline probably pretty quickly after once you switch over to him and kind of continue that Heal the Earth storyline.
Right. I mean, they still know how to get those story moments just pitch perfect every time. Like even Miles's mom telling him about that she's dating.
Oh yeah.
She'd like him to meet the man that she's been dating, and there's something about, and the first two games were like this too, but there's something about all those cutscenes where they're just so human. Like they're really emotionally perfect.
Yes.
So yeah.
Which are you playing around with any of the suits? Because this game has a lot of suits
so far.
I did because I got the physical version of this game.
Yeah.
As I am wont to do. Which I've heard that there's been some problems with some of the physical discs though.
Yeah, not installing.
Not installing. Thankfully I did not have that problem.
Nice.
Mine was able to install. But I did spend the extra, I think, $10 to upgrade to the digital deluxe version, because you get
which I did as
you
well.
get a couple skill points to spend right away.
5 skill points.
Yes. And you and both Miles and Peter get a handful of of new suits. I don't know if they're early unlocks or if they're
No,
exclusive.
they're exclusive
Oh,
to
okay.
the Digital Deluxe.
Well, and one of Miles's suits is the Tokusatsu suit,
Which is an excellent suit.
which is very much got a Kamen Rider vibe to it. So of course I had to get that. And I had
Yeah.
switched over. I had Miles in that suit, but one thing I noticed is that just the structure of that suit is not when other characters interact with Miles during the cutscenes.
There's no emotion on the face.
Well, it's not even the
Not
face,
as
because I
emotive.
mean,
It's just ridiculous.
well, no, it's not even that it's
No.
ridiculous. It's that, like, because it's made to look like a Kamen Rider Power Ranger type suit where you have, like, kind of shoulder armor and stuff like that, and the other characters don't recognize that. So if Peter puts his hand on Miles's shoulder, Peter's hand goes
Through
through
the-
the
It's a
through
horror
the
show.
armor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'm gonna switch over because
I noticed that with one of the Peter suits because I switched to one where he has like it's like a cape and cowl kind of thing going on.
oh, okay, yeah.
And the cape was getting stuck in his like stuck in his belt almost.
Oh, really?
In one of the cutscenes. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. So I switched Miles back
I mean,
over to
realistic, but weird.
yeah. Although, you know what, I did just I was actually playing this game this afternoon, like up until about 10 minutes before we recorded. I actually finished a big set piece. Thankfully, right before we recorded, I was a little nervous of having to stop this big scene in mid battle to come do this nonsense with you people.
Yeah.
But right after I finished it, I got the little window popped up on the screen to tell me that new suits were available. So I went and checked, and one of the suits that unlocked for Miles, and by unlocked I mean unlocked the ability for me to unlock it. But it was the 2099 Miles suit, which was a suit that I really enjoyed in the Miles Morales game, which is the one where he's got like the Daft Punk helmet and the eyes are like little LED bulbs and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's a very cool looking suit. So I switched over to that for now. I'm going to see how well that model works with other characters in cutscenes to decide if I want to switch back. But I also I looked to see what suits had unlocked at that level for Peter, and one of them was Spider-Man Noir.
Oh, cool.
But specifically the Spider-Verse version
Oh.
of Spider-Man Noir. So it looks like the character from the first movie. So I purchased that, and that told me that it had because I purchased that, it unlocked the new like animation-based frame rate.
Oh, cool.
Right.
So you can have the kind of
On the
lower,
twos?
huh?
Is it on the twos?
On the twos instead of on the ones. Yes. So it unlocked that, and like kind of comic book style sound effects that pop up on the screen, and
That's awesome.
you can turn that on and off. Both of those options can be turned on and off for any suit now. So
That's great. I love
something
that.
to play around with.
I love that.
Yeah. Hopefully
Such a polished game just in general.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
when I first of all, with the deluxe edition kind of thing, I always hate with games because I never remember what the unlocks are when I purchase a game, and oftentimes games are very bad at telling you when you've unlocked like a pre-purchase whatever.
Mhm.
This game actually, like during the Sandman fight initially, it started popping up. You've unlocked this. You've unlocked that. You've unlocked
Oh, yeah.
this. And I was like, great, where do I switch suits? Well,
Can't do
actually,
that yet.
actually that menu doesn't pop up yet. But the fact that it like told me that it was doing it and didn't just leave it to you have to discover that for yourself was
Right.
greatly appreciated, because I find with digital pre-orders, you really have to like remember what the bonuses were supposed to be to even
Right.
see if you got them. Like with Sonic, I downloaded the deluxe edition, which comes, with the rabbit cosmetic, which is exclusive to that.
Mhm.
And well, it didn't download the pack that had the rabbit in it. So even though I had bought the digital bundle, it hadn't installed it. So I was not able to play as the rabbit at first go. But
But
anyway,
that
Spider-Man,
game does tell you that you've unlocked the rabbit.
it does, yes.
Yes.
After you've downloaded the pack and
Yes.
installed it. But yeah.
Yes.
And you
But,
can start without the DLC content if you want to. It's in one of the options
Yes.
in the start.
But yeah, I'm having a blast with it.
It's great.
It's
Yeah,
really good.
Loving it.
I love I mean, we could talk about that opening set piece, the
Sandman.
Sandman
Yeah.
battle, which was
Super cool.
fantastic action-packed intro to that game. Did a really good job setting the tone, giving you a big spectacle, giving you a really cool sense of scale, fighting a giant Sandman.
Yep.
I loved there's one part in that fight when you were playing as Miles and you go into attack and Sandman grabs you and just chucks you halfway across the city, and the camera kind of follows Miles as he is flying away, and you can just see this skyscraper sized Sandman getting very small very quickly as you are thrown way, way, way out of the battle.
Yeah.
And then you, of course, catch yourself and slingshot back, and you got to get
That's
back
really
into the
cool.
fight.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. It's really well done.
Yes. Are we to believe, or maybe I misinterpreted this, was it Peter's first day on the job, and then he also got fired? Or
It is teaching job?
his
Yeah.
teaching job?
Yes.
Absolutely.
That was his first day at work.
I think that's the overarching plot line from the start here, is that because I mean, Miles is in a similar situation where he's really putting his college acceptance at risk.
Right.
And actually, CJ, you definitely haven't gotten to this yet, but that's furthered in a later scene where it's not just that he's not getting the essay done, but he actually ends up having an interview with somebody who might be able to get him into a school he wants to get into. But of course, it's happening
Right.
during a mission.
Yeah.
So the guy is just like, well, it seems like you're distracted. And it's like a sneaking mission, so he's whispering the whole time.
Now, see,
It's
that's
pretty
amazing.
funny.
I haven't done that mission yet, Greg.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
anyway, you'll get to it, but I mean,
Right.
there's definitely a like, because again, slight spoiler, but after this whole mission that he goes through, he's named like the official hero of Vision's Academy. Spider-Man is, right? The Miles Morales version of Spider-Man, and like, so there's definitely an overarching plot line here of, they can't use all the accolades and all the adoration they're getting as Spider-Man to help them in their regular lives are kind of a mess because Peter can't hold the job on his first day because he leaves.
Well,
Miles is screwing
somebody
up in school.
somebody
stuff
in
like that.
chat just said the teacher tells Peter she's tired of his continually skipping out of
That's
the kids.
true.
When
Yeah.
he returns from the fight. So that was why, because at the beginning, like the teacher was introducing Peter as the teacher, and then so I didn't know.
That's the thing. I need to
confusing.
see. I need to hear the exact dialogue because she does introduce Peter.
He mentions that he was substituting. He had been substituting at one point too.
Oh, okay.
Right.
But this felt like his first day as like an actual salaried teacher at Vision's Academy.
Yeah, I think
But I could be wrong.
that might be
Okay.
what it is.
That
Because
makes
she was
more
definitely
sense.
introducing him
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
as this is your teacher.
Right. And then he was saying that he had such cool experiments that he was going to do next week. They were going to turn a
Right.
potato into something.
A potato helicopter or something like
Potato
that.
helicopter.
It's funny. Hacker alias, not hacker alias. Been in the chat here. Clint Keen. He's talking about the mission that I was in, and so I was being stealthy and doing stealth takedowns. So during this interview that he was on, he was whispering the whole time.
Oh, funny.
Clint's saying that he had failed the sneaking parts, that he was fighting, and during the fight he was shouting in the interview. So that's pretty funny.
That's
great.
amazing.
That's really great.
Pretty good.
Well, should we move along to the third game that is on all of our what you've been playing lists? That's Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Yeah.
Literally played this for 45 minutes before we started recording.
Oh, really? Okay.
I did not have a chance to play it.
I'm through most of the first 2 or 3 worlds.
Yeah, I'm still in World 2 at the
Okay.
moment.
I think I'm in World 1.
Okay. It's outstanding.
That's all that needs to be said, and that's our show for this week.
Good night, everybody.
No, it is awesome.
It's a really
really good.
It's really pretty.
You know what? Here's why Super Mario Brothers Wonder makes me mad.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Phil has concerns.
Serious talk here.
This is my hot take.
Yeah.
This is gonna get my angry face on a YouTube thumbnail with a big red arrow. This game. You ever see the movie Roger Rabbit?
No.
Yes.
Who
Never heard of
Framed Roger Rabbit, to use its full title?
I have seen it.
There's a scene in Who Framed Roger Rabbit where the titular Roger Rabbit is handcuffed to Eddie Valiant, hard-boiled detective, hates working with tunes, and here he is handcuffed to one.
Yes.
And they get alone in like a warehouse or something, and Eddie pulls out a hacksaw and he's trying to saw the two apart. He's trying to saw the handcuffs apart.
It's the longest story ever. Keep going.
And Roger Rabbit slips out of the handcuffs to steady the table.
Yeah.
And Eddie notices what's going on. And Roger sheepishly puts the handcuff back on. And Eddie says, "You're telling me that you could have gotten out of those cuffs at any time?"
Yeah.
And me playing Mario Wonder, I'm sitting here seething, angry at this game because I'm thinking, are you telling me Mario games could have looked like this all this time? No, not at any time. Only when it was funny.
Yeah, that's right.
Only when it was funny. And that's what makes me mad. Is we could have had Mario games looking like Mario Wonder.
I mean,
all
the
this
animation
time.
and little touches in this is so awesome.
It's beautiful.
I am playing as Luigi. For
You would.
what reason? I have no idea.
That sounds like something you'd do.
But it's so there's a couple levels where I've had to replay them quite a bit, and imagine that.
Oh. Have you tried getting good?
I'll try that next time.
That's
next time.
My advice to you.
So you go into the pipe and you come out of a pipe, and I think it's so hilarious because I've seen this animation now so many times.
Yeah.
But it's still...
Has it stopped being charming?
No, it's still charming. So
you bet.
Luigi exiting the pipe, his face comes out first, and then his like stomach just like follows in this really hilariously cartoon way, as if the two centers of gravity are like different.
I gotta switch up playing characters more.
Yeah, me too. I've only played as Mario so far.
Yeah, I've been the same way because I'm basic.
I initially started as Blue Toad for some reason.
As Bluto.
But you have like 12 different characters to choose from.
Yeah.
Although 5 of them are Yoshis. But I feel like I should mix up my character selection every so often, especially because I'm getting standees for all of the characters. I feel more inclined to use them in multiplayer. Did any of you Well, not Greg, but
No, I
Phil.
didn't.
Did you turn on the online and try that online connectivity and try
I
that a
did
little
not.
I could have gone online. I forgot all about that.
bit? It's
I did-
actually pretty cool.
Really?
You know, like you all start at the same time and kind of start running through the level, but you can drop standees for other players, which are revive points if they
Hmm.
happen to die. And then you can use other people's standees as revive points too. So it's kind of nice. And you get like a bonus for all finishing the level together. I don't even know what bonus you get for it, but it says you finished the level together, and it's kind of a nice little moment there that you get. But yeah, it's like a co-op without the co-op because they're not doing the exact same thing that you are. And if they trigger a wonder seed and you are a wonder flower and you have not, it can get a little weird. You see their silhouette kind of go off into the stratosphere, and you're like,
Oh.
where did they go? They obviously triggered something that I have not yet. So, but I like the online connectivity. You can play in friend rooms as well, and you don't have to actually play together. You can just continue playing your solo game if you want to, but then you can start like a friend race and invite other people who are online at the same time to like come and play at the same course as you. So I don't know, it's enjoyable. It's a light touch on the online play, but I kind of like it. Yeah.
Well, all right. I don't know if I'll
Yeah.
actually try it.
Did you do the level called Jump, Jump, Jump yet?
I don't think so. What do you do in that level?
You jump, and then
Oh.
you jump again.
Craig really liked that one.
I did. I mean, I saw it coming from a mile away, but hey,
I don't
No,
think I have. What world is that in?
You'll know it when you see it. I guess it's World 2.
Well, probably because I'll see the name Jump
it'll
Jump
say
Jump.
jump, jump, jump.
Well, it's
I wonder if this is the Jump 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 level CJ was talking about.
It's like a 4-star challenge
Oh.
level,
Okay.
and yeah, it's basically disappearing and reappearing platforms to a
Jump
piece
on.
of music. Yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of fun. Yeah, it's difficult. That was the level that I really began to appreciate Luigi's animation going through pipes because I had to do it a bunch of times. That one also has like a false exit. So if you fail, you go to like a flagpole that is like the end of the level. You jump on it and it says course clear question mark,
Oh, really?
and you don't get any wonder seeds. And I was like, what is going on?
Oh, cute.
But that's not the real exit. So it's
Is
kinda
there
fun.
is there a little flower to give you a little snide remark? What are
No.
you doing here, idiot?
Oh, actually,
I'm
yes,
kind of
there is
over
a
the flowers, I have to admit.
there is a flower to give you a snide remark.
Yeah.
No.
Indeed.
You want some advice about the flowers, Greg?
Turn them off.
Here's what you do. You go into the options and you change their language to like Dutch.
German.
You know, it's funny because that's my biggest problem with them is that every other character in the game speaks in gibberish
Yeah.
and they just speak in like random white dude English. It's like I think every
white dude.
I think
English
every flower should be
specifically?
named Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it doesn't
Well,
fit the game.
you can do that, you know. You can there's like 10 different languages you can have
That's what I'm gonna
the
do.
flowers speak.
Okay.
I
could make
I-
German and then everything they say could be like 4 pages long.
yeah.
Oh.
I personally opted for Dutch. And
Oh,
I think it works really well.
okay.
Just pick
So
some other language that doesn't mean anything, right? Is that what you're saying?
well, you know what it is? You know, I've heard so much of Spanish, I've heard so much Japanese. You know, I've heard a lot of people speaking a lot of these other languages in that you can have the flowers speak. I haven't heard a lot of
Yeah.
native Dutch speakers.
Yeah.
So it's not an instantly recognizable language to me. So now it's the magical language of the flowers and the sweet secrets they tell me as I travel.
There are two
Now,
things
does
in
it
the
show?
world
Does it show the text in English or does it show the text?
No,
in
it shows up
Dutch?
in Dutch, so I'm really confused by it. But I imagine that they're saying very nice things about me.
Of course.
Yes, it's in English, CJ.
I imagine they are.
The little word bubbles still pop up in English. So I still know what they're saying. I just don't hear, white guy English,
Just
which is
such generic. It's. I mean, no offense to the voice actor, but it's such a generic voice
I
in a
think that's
world
the point,
in a world
though.
inhabited by characters that all speak gibberish and all have very stylized voices.
oh, hello.
Very-
Oh, hello. Hello.
Hi.
I'm a flower. You're doing great.
Exactly.
Oh, thank you very much. No problem, Mario.
Yeah.
There we go.
But I like the
Want to go down to
variety
the Trader
in,
Joe's?
I like the variety in the levels. They have pretty standard Mario courses, and then they have ones that are more like scavenger hunt and more like mission based, where you have to pick a power up and then you have to destroy all the enemies in this sort of 3-level gauntlet before time runs out to get all your wonder seeds, right? And then the jump level starts. You have to do a jumping challenge. And I like the variety so far in the stages, and all of these sort of wonder flower effects that have come up so far. Anyway, I have really liked. One of the last ones that I did was the top down perspective change, where it brings your view so that you're viewing your character from above and running around instead.
Oh, okay.
That's a fun one. Yeah. So there are a bunch of different wonder flower effects. Obviously, I hear some of them start repeating later, but I've really had fun with those so far.
Did you find the the secret world yet?
I did.
Yeah,
I found Secret World.
I found that as well.
Yeah.
I think I tried playing
I
one
didn't
of the
try
levels
any.
in there.
I didn't try any of the stages. I was like, I'm out. When I saw 6-star difficulty, I was like,
I tried one of those stages and said, I think I'm going to have to come back to this later. When my skills have slowly ramped up.
Yeah. I like the different badges that you can equip too, and the way that they introduce them, usually with a pretty easy challenge. And then within each world, there'll be one that's a more advanced version of that. So
yes,
I have enjoyed those so far.
I just did the advanced wall jump.
That was a good one. That was really fun one. I really liked that one.
It was a decent challenge, but not insurmountable.
Not insurmountable.
Do you get anything for those the extended challenges of badges you've already unlocked?
I don't think so.
They don't they don't power up your ability or anything, right?
I don't think so. No.
It's just
at the
a
end
further.
It asks you, if you want to continue with that badge turned on. But no, it doesn't give you any extra.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if I had missed something.
No, but I did think that initially too. I was like, well, I already had this badge, and do I get anything cool? No.
Nope.
No, you don't.
Nope.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Sucks to be you.
Indeed.
It's a very good game,
said Jeff.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I'm really
Spider-Man
enjoying it.
is really good, and Sonic is Sonic, but
Wow.
How dare you?
Look at that.
Sonic is really good too.
The console wars never ended for this veteran of the 90s.
Hey, Phil.
Sonic is really good too.
Yes, sir, Greg.
Tell CJ I'm not speaking to him.
Hey, CJ.
Yeah.
I have a message for you from Greg.
Okay, tell me. What?
You remember Greg Seward?
Vaguely.
He says...
He was on a podcast I was on once.
He was. He asked me to tell you that he is your best friend.
Aww.
And he will always love you.
Hey, Phil.
Yeah, Greg, what can I do for you, buddy?
Did you tell him?
I did.
Thanks,
he was pissed.
Good.
You got it. You got him. I'm glad.
Yeah.
He deserved that, Greg, after the way he behaved towards you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, now with CJ and Greg
CJ's right.
fighting, there is a power void that I can step in to
Power
fill.
void. That's right, Phil. Aim low.
Perfect.
Expect nothing and never be disappointed.
This will be my low popularity podcast.
All right.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any games they want to talk about?
No, talk about
Play
your stupid
anything
little
else?
games that we didn't play.
I'll talk about my games that I played that you guys didn't. Well, first of all, I got my prescription lenses for the Quest 3.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me tell you, they're pretty nice. They're nice. You know,
Can you
comfortable.
see through them?
Comfortable. Yeah, I can. Comfortable
like-
headset anyway.
Yeah.
In with glasses on, it was comfortable.
Right.
It's I think obviously it's better now because I don't have glasses on my face in addition to a VR headset. So it's
Right.
nice. And yeah, they're very
Is king.
clear and
Player One podcast.
what's that?
Comfort is king.
Comfort is king. You're absolutely right.
You bet I am.
So
That's why
then
it's my show.
played some walkabout mini golf with some listeners of the show, and that was a lot of fun. We played the Widows Walkabout stage, which is a new DLC course, and the DLC courses in Walkabout are only $4 each.
Okay.
And they have a bundle where you can get like all of the ones that they've released so far.
How many
And-
do they have so far?
I think there's like a dozen, and there's more on the way.
My goodness.
Yeah, there's a lot. You get a lot of courses with the regular game, and then you have like 12 or so DLC courses, something like that.
Very nice.
But yeah, so did a bunch of that. Quest 3 still comfortable, still good. Let's see. I also played Haunted House. So Haunted House, I kind of talked about it a little bit last week. It's Atari's sort of reimagining of the 2600 Haunted House game as a roguelike. And it's in a sort of top-down three-quarter perspective, not unlike Hades. And the gameplay itself is kind of Hades meets Luigi's Mansion meets Haunting starring Poltergeist. And
3 heavyweights.
the 3 titans
Yeah.
of the roguelike genre.
We call that the holy trinity in the video game industry.
We do.
Yeah.
But it's fine so far. Like it has like a certain number of rooms in the house, and each time you die and come back, it like shuffles those around and changes what you have to do in each. Some of them you have to like dissipate these light webs that are on these statues, and that's all you have to do in the room. Sometimes you have to survive for 1 minute. Sometimes you have to like capture a key away from these little raccoon characters that steal them. And there are a bunch of different like tasks that you can do in each room, and the enemies are different each time. So the gameplay itself is pretty good. It's like a non-violent roguelike. You're generally not engaging the enemies one-on-one. You're trying to uncover that room's puzzle, and then once you do whatever the goal is in that room, all the enemies poof disappear, and you can collect any bonus items they drop. But it does feel a little bit rough around the edges. For instance, like the map screen that you can bring up, it feels very much like programmer art, if you're familiar with that, where it's like they didn't design a map screen. The programmers of the game just like put together this wireframe map of the stage that you're in, complete with like Comic Sans font on what room icons are there. Yeah, it's a little weird. And then it has other problems. Like sometimes the map just doesn't display anything, so it's completely blank.
I've heard about maps where they forgot to render the exit.
I just ran into one of those.
Yeah.
Oh.
I just ran into those where it was like 4 rooms and they were just basically a loop. an infinite loop. There was no way.
Sounds
to
like what I would build
progress.
in The Sims.
There was no way to progress, so I had to restart
A
the
bathroom
run.
with no door but a window.
Yeah. Well, the other, I mean, I think this game might have been a little bit rushed, just a little bit,
Hmm.
because it's like it's missing that little polish. It's missing like 6 months of polish on it. And I'm playing on the PlayStation 5, and one of the menus has a B button to exit, and the PlayStation controller does not have a B button. So
Uh-oh.
I saw that and was like, "Oh, damn! Somebody forgot to do this." I'm surprised this
Somebody
passed.
made a mess.
I'm surprised this passed certification, because that's the kind of thing you fail on
Hmm.
if you have a non-PlayStation button in the and you bring up, like, it's in the status menu. It says press B to exit. It's like, nope, that's not
Hmm.
right. So, I mean, the gameplay is good. I think it needed more polish. It could be a really fun roguelike. It's only $20, so it's not like a huge it's not Son of Kong or anything like that, where you're spending $60 for a janky game. It's
Well,
not jank. It's not that janky.
Son of Kong is. Oh wait, Son of Kong, just Kong.
Whatever it is.
It's that's only $40.
$40. Okay, well,
It's a $40 game.
this is half that price. And it does have a little Atari touches. You're collecting 2600 cartridges in the mansion, and then turning them in for like crystals that you can then purchase upgrades with. So, and the upgrades, I mean, it's a roguelike, so you go into the store with this crystals currency that you collect, and you can buy things like extra stamina, extra HP, faster movement speed, and things like that, and you all level those up. So yeah, they probably had to get this out for Halloween, I imagine, and couldn't delay any further. And that might be a bit of a shame, but it's not terrible, but I wish it had more polish on it. So yeah. And then I played everybody's favorite, the viral hit Suika game on the Switch. Have you heard about this game? This fruit-based matching game. It's called, in Japan, it's called Suika Game, and in the US it's called Watermelon Game. It's a $3, I think, or maybe $4.
Are you thinking of the American Laser Games unreleased Gallagher's Gallery?
No. This is a matching game where you're plunking down different fruit that then turn into other fruit when you match two of them together. Think of it as like threes, but with fruit instead. And they're dropping from up top. But anyway, Watermelon Game is the name of it. If rock are you living under, basically, on social media, and that goes to Greg and Phil.
It was funny because you froze when you said that, so we didn't hear the insult at all.
No.
Excellent.
We figured the recording was probably working, so we just didn't say anything.
Yeah.
It's probably fine. But this game is odd because it is not at all localized into English. It is a Japanese eShop viral hit that they brought over, and it does not display English language at all.
Awesome.
Which I think is the first time I've seen that in the eShop, where it doesn't have any English at all.
Oh, that's actually happened plenty of times.
Does that happen a lot?
Oh yeah. There are a fair number. There is a fair number of.
I thought that was another thing that would get you not certified for release, but apparently not.
No. No, there are plenty of Japanese language games on the US eShop.
I see. Well, add this to that. It's Watermelon Game, and it's very fun. It's a match 2 game. So you don't even have to match 3. But it's it's a fruit matching game and kind of fun. Yeah. All right.
I'm looking at a screenshot of this game.
Yes, you are. I imagine.
I am.
And questioning why I would be recommending a game that looks like a mobile game.
Well, it does look like a mobile game.
I think it is a mobile game.
But
Also,
the screenshot I'm looking at doesn't show any watermelon. It's just like there's
different fruits.
peaches and
Yeah,
like honeydew melons and
that's right. Well, the watermelon is the final form of
oh,
the
I
fruit
see.
matching. You see?
I see.
Yeah,
By combining the fruits, they turn into watermelons.
that's right. They Voltron up into a watermelon.
That's called GMO.
I mean, the watermelon is the ultimate fruit. So
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
By
GMO.
splicing fruit together, you eventually work your way up the fruit food chain to the
Yes.
dominant fruit, the watermelon.
Yep.
I see.
Anyway, that's what I've been playing. So I guess that means it's time for tweets.
Well, then I'll go ahead and proceed with the tweet song.
You should.
A tweedly diddly dee. A tweedly diddly dee. Tweet, tweet. A tweet, tweet.
All right. Let's do this one from hacker alias Beejatron, who says, as a relatively new listener, I'm surprised how often Haunting starring Poltergeist comes up on P1P. On last week's after show, everyone
You
seemed to know
be.
Everyone seemed to know and love the game. It has always been my answer to what's a game you love that everyone else hates. So I'm wondering if there's more to this story. What's everyone's history with this game?
I never played it.
I briefly played it back in the day. Briefly.
I played it and
CJ
love
loves it.
I love it. Yeah. And I won't say that it's an amazing game or anything, but I
You can go
enjoy
ahead
it
and say
quite a
that.
bit because I believe this is its big selling point was it was designed by the same game designer as 720 Degrees. That was its big selling point. That's
Really?
Was it really?
Yeah, and I believe I may be wrong here. I no longer have the game, and
What?
the manual states in the story that the Poltergeist, the titular Poltergeist,
Mhm.
is was like a skateboarder that got killed.
Oh, so it's a
So
sequel.
there's like continuity there with the 720 degree verse.
Oh.
And yeah, I just really enjoy the game. And there's really no reason for it because it's a really silly game where you possess things and try to scare a family out of their house. But I just enjoy it. I enjoy it for its weirdness, and
Yeah.
it's just so different and was trying to do something interesting, I thought, on the Genesis. And an example of EA doing something different. Amazing.
I'm looking at the
that's why.
I'm looking at the credits for Haunting starring Poltergeist right now.
Yeah.
CJ, designed by Dave Ralston and John Solwitz,
Yeah.
both of whom did indeed work game design on 720.
720.
So there
Yeah.
you go.
Yes.
And
which was an
Dave
arcade game
Ralston,
that I liked, but I could never do well in 720.
yes.
I sucked at 720, but I still played it.
Dave Ralston, I'll have you know, also
Yeah.
came up with the original concept for a little game called Skitchin.
Oh God.
So
yeah, but is Poltergeist in Skitchin? That's
I don't know. Maybe there's a
taken long enough to find out.
unlockable
Yeah.
character that we've yet to discover.
But anyway, I think the story of this game is that it's an obscure video game that I love that the other guys don't care about, and that has been why it is a meme, a P1 meme from way
CJ?
back. Yeah.
As the world's foremost authority on Haunting starring Poltergeist,
Yeah.
can you tell me the name of the family that
No, I cannot. I can't.
Poltergeist is
I haven't
haunting?
played it in some years. Yeah. I
Oh,
cannot.
well. You need to familiarize yourself with the Sardini family.
Yes. The Sardini family. Yeah.
So,
All right, let's do this one from hacker alias Enchi, who says, assuming you're planning on 100%ing Mario Wonder, Are you 100%ing each level before moving on, waiting until the end of the world or the end of the game to go back and clean up?
That's a big assumption right off the bat.
Yeah,
That is a big assumption
that's
right
based
off the
on an
bat.
assumption that is not true.
Yeah.
I generally don't 100% Mario games ever because
Yeah, I tend to
usually
not
it
do that
involves,
myself.
especially in later levels, collecting a certain number of items that it's at a certain point in every Mario game, it just becomes busy work and not fun to me. So whether it was like collect 5 dinosaur coins and whatever, or you have to collect all the red coins or whatever it is, I just never I'm not that type of player.
And
Sorry
yet
to
you
say.
love Donkey Kong 64.
Yes. I'm not that type of player anymore.
I
should
see. I
qualify
see. I see. Makes sense.
What about you guys? Do you go for completionism? Are you trying to find all the wonder seeds, any secret exits, that kind of thing?
If I play through a level and I get to a point where and this happened to me uh yesterday or the day before when I was playing.
Hmm.
I got to the end of a stage and there was very clearly a pathway to a secret exit
Yeah.
that I could not access because I did not have like the elephant power up. So I had to go out the scrub exit.
Hmm.
But then I went and quickly found an elephant power up and then went back into that level and replayed it again to go to that secret exit. So,
Okay.
if it's something like that, yes, I will go back and try
It's
and
obvious.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's like, oh, you didn't find some hidden coin that's somewhere and like I didn't immediately notice a place where it could be, that will get filed away in the I'll come back and look at that later.
And you never do.
And then I never do. And you know what? I'm fine with that.
Me too.
My life
Yeah.
has continued on the same course that it would have had I discovered that secret coin. I mean,
Indeed.
I assume.
Yeah.
I mean, how can I
All
really know
right.
for sure, though? Jeez.
Let's do this one from Hacker Alias Yonder Vittles, who says
Yeah.
Mario Wonder has me thinking about how much I love 2D platformers in general. Do you guys
They're
have
good.
any favorite 2D platformers that you would be able to recommend? Hope you are all doing well.
Well,
Mario
yep.
Wonder. Let's get that out of the way first.
Oh, I think that was already
Yeah.
pointed out.
Oh, yeah.
Have you played Yoshi's Island?
Ah,
You should play Yoshi's Island if you have not. There's an alarming number of people who have not played Yoshi's Island.
I haven't
discovered.
played very far into Yoshi's Island.
Oh,
What?
what a
I have
mistake.
not. Yeah. Sorry.
Yoshi's Island is perhaps, and Mario Wonder, and there's, it's new, and I haven't finished it, but
Yeah.
Yoshi's Island at the moment is still my favorite 2D platformer.
Okay.
Hands down, no question.
Hmm.
Have you played Klonoa?
Oh, that's a good.
It's
a good
it's a
shout. Klonoa.
2.5D, but let's not,
Yeah.
split hairs about this.
Yeah.
Klonoa is outstanding, and I highly
Yeah.
recommend it. What about you, lads?
As much as I like 2D platformers, and I do, I probably have more good memories of 3D platformers now.
Hmm.
And stuff like Sly Cooper and Jack and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank, like kind of for me anyway, have gone over 2D platformers outside of Mario and Sonic and even Klonoa. I think is still one I would recommend. But like aside from that, I mean, if you want to play High Seas Havoc, Do it. I enjoyed High Seas Havoc back in the day. I'm not sure how well that would have
Ugh,
aged, but yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm more into 3D platformers now.
thank goodness.
But
Forgotten your roots.
I know. I'm sorry. I mean, Box Boy is great. Box Boy, Box Girl. If you've not played that series, that's on Switch now. It started on the 3DS. That's a lot of fun. What did I play? I played recently. Thomas Was Alone, which is kind of a 3D platformer. It's a bit of a, or not a 3D platformer, 2D platformer that is has a narrative element that's quite excellent, and it's also sort of very puzzly.
In that there is a literal narrator.
A literal
describing
narrator.
things. Yes.
Correct. Yes.
Yes.
A literal narrator.
Yes.
And that's fun.
Micah in the chat brings up a question.
Mm.
Is
Oh.
Mega Man a platformer?
Ooh.
It's an action platformer.
What's that?
It's an action platformer.
Yeah, I would not apply a platformer label to Mega Man.
Is it the weapon? Is it the
It's the weapon.
It's a shooting.
Yeah. It's the weapon. In the same way that, kind of going back to your 3D point, CJ, I wouldn't necessarily call Ratchet and Clank platformers.
No?
I wouldn't.
I guess you're
Again,
right. Action platformer. You're right.
because of the weapons. Because of the
weapons.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
Can't believe we're
not to
splitting hairs with this,
disparage
but
Ratchet and Clank, a series that I love,
Right.
but I would not call that or the Mega Man series platformers. That said, play the Mega Man games
and the
Of
Ratchet and
course.
Clank games.
and the Ratchet and Clank games. My goodness, they're great.
Yeah. All
But-
right. Let's finish.
I
up
don't
with
get
this
the
one.
answer.
No, you don't. What? Okay. What?
Wow.
What are your 2D platformers? Come on, Greg. Oh, you
There
went
he is.
away.
CJ,
Mhm.
I was asked to deliver a message to you on Greg's behalf.
Yeah.
He says he feels hurt. He says he feels rejected and isolated.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with you. He just happened to see himself in a mirror and
And
was like,
muted.
"This is what I live with every day." And I was like,
Wow.
"Boy, Greg, that is
It's
hurtful.
a little.
You should not."
It's a little too close to home, Phil. I was gonna say it's not funny now.
Ouch.
We all have those mirrors, Greg. Don't
I
worry.
was just gonna say, for me, platformers, yeah, it was more like 8-bit and 16-bit.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
the DuckTales and Castle Evolution remakes,
Oh,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Both
you
great.
should play those. You should play
Both
those.
great.
Quack
You should play the
shot.
originals too,
Quack
but you should
shot.
play the remakes.
Quack shot.
Yeah, Quackshot as
Quackshot.
well. But I'm talking about
Oh.
those two remakes. So
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what?
All
else-
right.
You know another platformer I enjoyed.
What's that?
Talking about licensed games again.
they're terrible. I
CJ.
hear.
CJ, so quick to dismiss licensed games because that Kong game was no good.
Yeah.
That the Tiny Toons game on the SNES.
Yeah.
The
Buster Bust Loose.
Buster Bust Loose. That's a good game from Konami.
Never played it.
What?
Never played it.
You never played Buster Bust Loose on
No.
the Super Nintendo Entertainment System?
I don't think so. I might. Maybe I rented it once.
My goodness.
No.
You
Yeah.
Did you have a Super Nintendo?
Yes.
You're not playing this. You're not playing Yoshi's Island. What did you play
No,
on
not
there?
Super Metroid,
Super Metroid. Whatever.
Clay Fighter.
See, that's
Good lord,
That's the problem.
Yeah.
you're too busy.
Exactly.
playing garbage.
Little CJ. Crisscross applesauce on his living room floor. Clay Fighters, Clay Fighters. Singing
That's
along
great.
to that title screen
That's great.
while Yoshi's Island languishes in the corner,
Unplayed,
covered in dust.
unloved.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even buy Yoshi's Island. What are you
Yeah.
talking
See,
about?
there it is.
All right, let's do this one from Alex Kulafi, who says, "How are you feeling about this year in games as we approach Game of the Year season? I know year-end lists are silly / don't actually matter, but to me, 2023 feels like the first year in a long time where 4 to 5 things I played could be number one."
I don't know. There's not many good games this year. No, there's a lot of great games this year.
There's
My
a lot
goodness.
of great games. I feel like the top 5 for me is gonna be all of those games, yeah, as Alex says, could have been number 1 on a regular year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like there's definitely more than 5 games that I would say are my favorites of the year.
There's a lot of
Without
good stuff.
So many good games.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be tough picking my favorite this year. I know that much.
Yeah. Spoiler alert,
Yeah.
Mario's probably gonna be in there for me.
Jesus.
Spoiler alert. I
For
still haven't
everyone,
forgotten Hi-Fi
probably.
Rush,
Hi-Fi Rush.
which you guys didn't even finish.
Hi-Fi Rush.
You guys hardly played that game.
I played enough of it.
Enough of it.
Tell you what game is not going to be on my game of the year list.
What's that?
Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh,
Wow.
you know, game's not going to be on my game of the year list.
What's that?
Humanity.
Ah,
Burned.
no, it is backfired
Burned.
horribly
Sick.
for me.
Humanity's a very
I'm
good
just gonna let you
game.
guys know that
It is a
humanity and every Pokemon release are tied for first for my game of the year list. I don't know why. you guys
As
are so mean to
well,
one
they
another.
should be.
You
Absolutely.
guys are all so mean to each other.
Yeah. All right, I think that's a good place to end it.
All
Good
right.
place as any.
This is a good week for video games.
It is.
You know what?
Mm.
3 cheers for video games this week. Hip hip hurrah!
Video game fans rejoice.
Hip hip hurrah! Hip hip
All right.
hurrah! Good job, video games.
You
Keep
did
doing
it.
this.
Keep making
Keep
those games.
doing this.
Yeah.
This was such. I can't wait to see what next week holds.
Oh. Alan
How
Wake.
will
No
they
more video
compete?
games.
Alan
We need
Wake
time
2.
to play them.
Nah,
Plus the
there's-
Jackbox Party Pack 10 came out last week. I'll
Duly
take Jack-
noted.
I like the Jackbox games. But anyway. Alrighty then. That is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on the Twitters or @P1 Podcast on almost any social network that you can think of. Yeah, and we also have an internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Stewart. You'll find Generation 16 episodes as they happen, and you'll find show notes and links to all the things that we talked about during episodes just like this one,
Oh.
as well as a link to our Discord server where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
If, and that's a big if, you would like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast listening app. We're also on Spotify. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch video archives of our show on the youtubes.com/P1 Podcast, or you can watch us live most weeks on the YouTubes, the Facebooks, the Twitch, televisions, all over the place. Follow our social media accounts, our many social media accounts, to find out when we are doing our next live show. Typically, it is Sunday evenings at 5:30 specific time. So join us, won't you? And I'll tell you what, if you like what you've heard, and how could you can head over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. CJ got so excited about this watermelon game, he is looking to hire Ron Gallagher, aka Gallagher 2, aka the brother of the original late Gallagher, to perform live on our show
No.
for our special episode 1000 celebration that we have already begun pre-planning for.
I love that CJ just keeps repeating no.
No,
No,
not true.
So
not at all true.
you can help support that endeavor. Perhaps the most important endeavor that has ever befallen a podcast
Yeah.
by heading to patreon.com/P1 podcast and show us your financial support. And that's a yes, CJ? Was that?
No, that's a
That
no.
is a yes.
That's still a no.
Okay.
Still no.
I'll tell you what. Your Patreon funds do actually go to help support our show and keep us streaming and running and all that stuff every darned week. And I'll tell you what, friendos, if you are a Patreon supporter of the $5 tier,
Cheap.
you gain special access to a weekly bonus episode that we record right after this, where we play games, crack wise, having fun doing all the stuff we can't do on the regular show. CJ,
Yeah.
do we have a game this week?
No, we don't.
God damn it!
You knew this was coming. No, we do. We do have a game.
Oh my
It's
God,
EGM
what?
review game. EGM review game. We're doing that this week. It's from the October 1998 issue of EGM. Sorry to play with your emotions like that, Phil.
I'm just so happy. I didn't think we were gonna have a game, but we did.
We have a game. We have a game.
Oh, that's great. And I'll tell you what, if you have a couple bucks left over, head over to patreon.com/Greg Seward to help support Greg's outstanding, and it is outstanding web series about North America's favorite runner-up, home of Haunting starring Poltergeist, the Sega Genesis.
But not 720.
No,
Mm.
you kidding? No way.
Thank you, Phil. And if you are a supporter of the $5 variety,
Also cheap.
you get access to the weekly commute, which is a vlog series that I do when I have time. By the way, don't have a lot of time lately, but what I did do recently for all you $5 plus supporters, thank you.
Also cheap.
Thank you, Satan.
You got it, buddy.
Is give a little taste of a video that I've been working on all year, basically. Little section about the Ridge Racer video. So I hope people had a chance to go look at that and enjoyed it. But more importantly,
yes,
less than 2 weeks from now will be my 13th and final Extra Life gaming marathon in support of the IWK Children's Health Center here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Please consider making a donation. We are at $3,295 raised so far this year of our $10,000 goal. If we hit those goals, we're going to have raised over $100,000 over the past 13 years for the IWK Health Center. You want to be part of that. Your donations are tax deductible. It's really easy to go do it. extra-life.fund/Sewart, SEWART. And please tune in to the 24-hour marathon, which, like I said, is coming up in less than 2 weeks, November 4th, 9 a.m. Eastern. We start and we go till 9 a.m. November 5th.
Wow.
Playing video games.
All right.
We're going to hit that $10,000 goal.
Excellent.
Twitch TV/Seward is where you can see that that marathon. By the way.
Yes.
Anyway, please donate. We're getting down to the wire.
Absolutely. Is that it?
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
CJ,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
Of course. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. Gregory.
Yo.
Thank you as well.
Thank you, Philip.
Absolutely. And a big old thank you to you, our wonderful, wonderful listeners, every single one of you. Remember, as always, take care of yourself, your loved ones, your family, your friends. Be kind to others. Do what you got to do to be safe. Be kind to yourself, man.
Every night.
Every night. Vigorously. And repeatedly. For as long as you can hold out. And we hope to see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, dear friends.
Bye.